The ultimate social media guide for beginners. My 8-step plan for how you as a business owner can get started on social media, get out to market and start making an impact. And if you don't know me, my name's Adam Stott. I've done over £156 million on sales in social media. And today in this video, I'm going to give you my 8 steps for how you get started and get fast results for your business. Let's jump on into my 8-step social media plan for beginners. So as I mentioned, I've done £156 million in sales on social media. And that is for multiple different industries, multiple different businesses, and that's for my businesses. I took a car business from 0 to £40 million a year, selling everything through Facebook. I took body shops, service centers, coaching businesses, events businesses, marketing businesses, and PR businesses, and all the traffic and all the sales have come through social media. And I want to share with you what I feel is the hardest thing for people to get going when it comes to social media, and that is the start. People just don't get it, and often, we run events all over the country and I'm helping business owners all the time, thousands of them, and often they just feel frustrated. They know that social media is the way to go, but they just feel a bit stuck. And then they start saying to themselves, oh my God, everybody else is doing well. Why can't I get going? And I don't really know what the steps are. So what I wanted to do is create a YouTube video that is simple to follow, easy to follow, that takes us through those steps. Now, the first step that we're going to jump into, and you're going to want to make sure that as I go through this, you're taking notes, because this is no holds bars. I'm just going to give it to you. You're going to have all the info. So at the end of this video, you can just start taking action. So I'd encourage you to take notes, save this video. If you're on premium, download it, because it's going to be massive for you and your business if you are in the position where you haven't started yet. You've been doing your business in a different way, maybe networking, repeat business referrals, which can be massive for you if you have started, but you're not really seeing any results. In fact, it's going to be massive for you if you have started, have seen some results, but you feel like you're going up and down. So wherever you're at, it's going to provide a lot of value. So what's our first step? Our first step simply is the topic. So we want to focus initially on step 1, the topic that we are going to talk about. And I get it, the topic, what do you mean by this? And already when I teach social media, people have so many bits going on in their mind. They're like, when should I post? What time should I post? And all of that's going to become clear as we go through this plan. But the first thing you've got to do is you've got to figure out what is the thing that you want to talk about. What is the thing that you are going to go to social media and share? Because the bottom line is, if you don't talk, nobody hears. So we've got to go and we've got to share a message. And straight away people go, oh, what do you mean? I've got to get on video. And no, not necessarily, but we'll come to that as well. You've got to, first of all, just have a message to talk about. Now, the way that we do the topic, because this is where a lot of people get stuck, right? So you've got to go out and you've got to share a message and you've got to speak a message. Some people will worry straight away and go, what do you mean I've got to get on video? There's different ways to speak a message. You can speak a message by just posting, content, actual static images. You can speak a message by you just voiceover of other content, and you can speak a message via you being on video. Now, some people are going to be a bit nervous by that. This is the most powerful by far. And in order to get us to this stage where we do this, you've got to be in a position where you feel confident. Now, the way that you feel confident is by following this plan that I'm giving you, which is really straightforward, is that we've got to know what the topic is. Because this is where most people get stuck. Right at the beginning of their social media strategy, their social media plan, where do they get stuck? They go, oh, I've got to post something on social media. Don't know what I'm going to post on social media. Oh my God, now I'm panicking about what I'm going to post on social media. Oh, and they start overthinking it. They're just then they post something that's rubbish, or they don't post anything at all. And then they start beating themselves up about it, and social media becomes your enemy rather than your ally. So what we want to do instead of that is we want to get ahead of the game and get really clear on what the topic is. So how this works, the topic, and how you choose your topic, is it's much like a cake. And you didn't expect me to say that, but you know, that's where we're going to go. And what I mean is, whatever it is that you've got as a message, this is the cake here. We'll call this the topic cake. If you like cakes and you like topic cakes, tell me in the comments, right? So we've got the topic cake here. And let's take relationships as an example. And let's use this framework of the topic cake into relationships. Relationships might be your thing. You're like, yeah, no, I help people with relationships and I'm, you know, in the service-based businesses around relationships. And now you've got multiple areas of that topic. So the really powerful people and the people that succeed have done this pre-work. So even though some of you are like, get into the tools, Adam, get into the software, we'll get there, but you've got to do this pre-work first. And this first part, step one, is the topic cake. So we've got relationships. Part one slice of relationships is divorce. And you might have nothing to do with divorce. You might be about dating. And then another part of we've got divorce, we've got dating, and we've got marriage. You might be about marriage, okay? And you've got all of these different slices of a cake that you've got within the topic, and they go even more granular. So the divorce has its own slices, dating has its own slices, and I'm going to show you how to go more granular. And you've got all these different things that happen in the topic cake. So what do you want to do? Well, you want to establish what is the whole cake of your industry. So it doesn't have to be relationships, you could be in recruitment, right? You could be in coaching. You know, we're in business, we show businesses how to grow. And part of that, one slice of that cake is social media. Another slice of that cake is sales. Another slice of that cake is the operations. Another slice of that cake is leadership. So you see what I mean? Then you pick the topics that you actually want to talk about. And this is the key here. You want maximum of 3 topics that are going to be featured on your social media. You don't want to have 50 topics. You don't have to come up with endless ideas. You just want 3 topics that you're going to talk about. So in your topic cake, you pick 3. So if we were to keep going on the relationships, we've got divorce as one part, we've got dating as another part, we've got marriage, we've got relationships, might be blended families, it could even be families in itself, yeah. In relationships, it could be father-son, you know, it could be mums and dads. And you've got all of these different topics. You could have sex, and you've got all of these different topics here in relationships. Which ones do you want to talk about? You might like, oh, well, no, I don't want to talk about divorce because that's not what I'm all about. So you might want to talk about sex, or you might want to talk about mum and dad relationships or dating. Let's take the dating. Let's say that you decide that dating is your segment of the cake that you want to work on. So how does that work? Well, then we go and rub out the rest of the cake, and we've got this slice of the topic cake for your business, which is dating. You now say, well, if dating was its own cake, what is there to talk about on dating? And we're going to want to come up with a master slice, and then we're going to want to pick the different slices that we want to talk about within this topic. So it's very simple, and hopefully that makes sense. So this could be how to go on the first date, how to ask someone out on the first date. This bit could be, you know, how to set up a Tinder profile. This could be, you know, online dating. This could be, you know, in-person dating. This could be dealing with getting ghosted. In all these different things. Now, I'm not single, so this wouldn't be my expertise right now, but you can see the point. Now, where does this flip back to you, and why does this matter? And why is this first step so important? If you clearly know what your topic is, so let's say you're in dating, and let's say you've got good expertise in these 3 areas, now we've got a clear plan of what we're going to, I'll rub this bit out as well, we've got a clear plan about what we're going to talk about and the message that we're going to go out to market with. And what that does is that allows you to get rid of the brain fog, the stopping, the starting, the looking through different things, the coming up with ideas. It just gets rid of everything because you go, this is my lane. This is the stuff that when people come to me that they're going to get. This is what they're going to get to know me. And you're starting to build a brand around these topics, and you're starting to build expertise around these topics. So the first thing you got to do, and your first step, is to figure out what's your master topic, and then what are 3 topics that you feel really comfortable talking about and you know a lot about. There's no point faking it. You got to know what you're talking about. There's no point talking about something you don't really know. You know, I mean, you could do is if you wanted to be interested in it and you wanted to share other people's opinions, but it'd be better that you become the expert, become the authority, and you speak about those different subjects. Now, a couple of problems come up here. We're like, okay, Adam, you know, I'm a little bit skeptical about that, and I don't know if are you sure that's the right way to go? And, you know, these kind of different things come up. And let me explain to you why this is so important. The reason why this is so important is because in order for you to create influence, in order for you to stand out, in order for you actually to get people to pay attention to you, they need to have an element of repetition in what you do. Because this is the problem. People that are making, let's say that we didn't rub out the different stuff and we just talked about everything, then what would happen is someone would go over to your social media. Let's imagine it's me, right? You come over to my social media and you see me talking about relationships and you go, oh, Adam does some stuff about relationships, which I definitely don't, right? It was a metaphor. And then you come and you see me another time and I'm talking about health and biohacking. You go, oh, Adam does a bit about biohacking. You see me for 3 seconds talking about biohacking or, you know, a very short period of time. And all of a sudden, you associate my brand to those things. Where what I really am is I am business growth. How do you build businesses? How do you grow businesses? And that's what I talk about. And I talk about segments within growing businesses. So I will talk about social media. I will talk about business strategy. I'm just sharing the topics that I talk on now. And I will talk about business growth in terms of sales. How do you generate sales and revenue for a business? So when you look at that, it's very clear what I do and who I am. And then you could go and you could watch all my different videos and you could go through this YouTube channel and you would see the same thing over and over and over again. And each time it would be slightly different. Now, this is why that matters. The reason it matters is repetition is what people need to become familiar and build brand. So for example, take Tony Robbins. He's been in the personal development industry for 40 years. He's still saying the same thing, and don't get me wrong, not criticising him, I love him. I think he's awesome. He's still saying the same thing that he's been saying for 30 years. But some people are seeing him for the first time, some people need to hear the message again, and some people need to hear the message many, many times for the message to drop. So this is the thing, we're exposed to 4,000 to 10,000 messages today in today's current world. 4,000 to 10,000. That's current stats, which means that we have hardcore filters about the information that we allow in. In fact, we filter it down to less than 100 messages a day so that we actually pay attention to. So if you like someone in particular and you go back and you see the same thing again and again and again, you're going to watch longer, you're going to retain people more, and it's going to really start to build your brand and authority in that subject. So the important first step, that number 1 step, is to pick your master topic and then pick your 3 topics that you want to work on. Now you might be like, yeah, but Adam, I don't know how to narrow it down. I'm a beginner. I'm right at the beginning. It's like you said. Well, what you do is you fall forward. And what that means is you do exactly what I tell you to do. You go out there and you start talking about the things you feel really comfortable with and the things that you find that people really, really love and it resonates with them and does well, you know that that's a keeper, that topic. And the things that fall flat that no one cares about, you go, well, maybe people don't care about that thing that I was talking about as much, or maybe you just need to do it better. But, you know, picking these topics is the first step because that allows you to cement who you are. So write that down because that's important. Who are you? And basically, in this world, you are what you talk about. You are what your message is. So it's very important that you're careful about what that message is. And that's your first step. So what's your second step? Well, your second step is not who are you. Your second step is who are you helping? So who are you helping in this world? And this is where, like, loads of people, so I've been training this for a long time, so I know what happens. So this is the first step, is our topic cake. And the second step, we'll just call the second step the step number 2, the who outcome. So write that down, who outcome. So who are you talking to and what are you helping them to do? So that's the who outcome. Now, a lot of people straight away when I talk about this second step, some people make things up in their mind. They go, well, that's okay to have a topic cake for a service-based business, Adam. But I don't do services. I've got products, so I can't do that. And that actually is completely the opposite of what's true. Your topic cake can work whether you are a service-based business, a product-based business. Is irrelevant. I'll give you a good example. We had a really great client that did very well. His product was a sponge, but what was his topic cake? His topic cake was cleaning. So his first part, his product was the sponge, but his topic cake was cleaning. And he made all of his content around cleaning. He just happened to be using his sponge, his product, in the cleaning videos. Hopefully that makes sense. Who was he helping? Well, he was helping people that wanted more cleanliness in their home. You know, his particular target market was mums, stay-at-home mums, which is a brilliant target market that wanted to create more impact and they wanted to have a cleaner home and they wanted to clean faster and more effectively. So if you see that really in action, you've gone from topic cake to who. The reason this is so important, these first 2 steps, like, it's crazy important because this is what no one does. So this is often the best, most powerful things that completely change the game are the things that are counterintuitive, completely counterintuitive. What do I mean by counterintuitive? Well, you'd think, well, most people don't do this, therefore it probably doesn't work. It's actually the opposite. Most people don't do this and that's why it does work. So it's super important to do these 2 steps. So you do your topic cake and then you go, right, okay, who are we helping? So this is how you do this one. You look at the person that is most likely to be interested in your topic cake. So you've got your big slice, okay, which is your topic, and then you've got your 3 other slices here, which is your mini, we'll call these your mini topics, okay? And then we say, who is the person that's going to be super interested in this and these. So what you've now done is you're being sequential. I told you it was step by step and you're going to love how these steps connect together because, like, literally this will be your entire social media strategy in one video for free. Is that pretty awesome? If you think that's awesome, put awesome in the chat for me, all right? Or in the comments so we can see. So this is what happens. You now go, well, who's most likely? Now I gave you the cleaning example. You got the person that wanted to go out, wants to sell his sponges, so he chooses cleaning as a topic to make content on. And now that he's got cleaning as a topic to make content on, he's got his mini topics, which is cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the kitchen and picking those different bits. He's got, right, this is the best way of cleaning the bathroom, this is the best way of cleaning the kitchen. And now we've got the product, we've got the whole thing. And now someone's going to go, but Adam, I'm not a product-based business, I'm a service-based business. So just to serve you in that, look at coaching, for example. I've got a coaching business and, our master topic is business growth, and the topics underneath that will be generating revenue and sales, social media and marketing topics and branding topics. So that's your service-based aspect. That's what we talk about. And the point is, why are you creating content? You might be like, well, why do I even want to do this? Well, the reason you want to do this is you build brand, you get to know your client more, you get to help your client, and that means that that client is more likely to want to do business with you. Very simple, right? So there's lots of reasons why you want to do it. Plus, it differentiates you, makes you stand out in the market, gets you more business, gets you more deals. Anyhow, back to the who. So we go, well, who is going to want to know that? Who is going to be the person that wants to know that? Now, we looked at the sponge example and we said that we've got a little product here that's most likely to be used. That was, we were aiming for mums that wanted cleaner homes, right? Now, if we look at this service example, we look at business owners. So we've got business owners, whether that's male or female business owners, doesn't matter, right? And this is going to be business owners that want to take their business to £1 million in revenue, let's say, for example. So we've got the who. And now we split. By the way, you're going to see how cool this is in a minute because we go topic to who and you're going to see how this splits out, which is pretty awesome. And then you go, well, that person, that business owner that's got an SME, a small business, that wants to go from where they are now to £1 million in sales within their business because they want business growth. What are their pain points that they're experiencing and what are their gain points that they want? Pain points, you've got gain points. And by the way, I taught this exact strategy to a great guy that was doing a state agency. I'll tell you what, it'd be a good one because he did really well. He went out and made 103 content videos. He did it in 24 hours. He absolutely smashed it. You know, went out and did like £48,000 worth of sales in a very short period of time because he followed exactly what I'm talking about here, right? So we can use that example. So we've got the pain points and we've got the gain points of the who. So in order to get to this stage, you've got to have your topic cake. You've got to have your idea of who you want to talk to. Couple of things here. Does it matter if your topic cake is perfect? No. Because where you start is not necessarily where you end. And remember, this is for the beginners. So if you're at the start, you're going to try and you're going to test a few things out. And as you try and test things out, some things are going to work brilliantly. Some things are not going to work as well. You just switch those bits out for stuff that does work well. Then you go, well, who is the person that's going to be interested in that? And you start off talking to that person. We're going to talk about consistency later. And you go out and you have conversations with that person. And, you know, if that really hits and that's awesome, brilliant. Is it possible that you could do the who wrong? It's absolutely possible. It is possible. And that's okay because then you can just change it. Now, I know that everyone doesn't just want a step-by-step plan. They want a perfect, foolproof, 100% works every single time, proven step-by-step plan. Well, this is a proven step-by-step plan that works 100% every single time, but there's tweaks. And there's tweaks to be made all the way through, and it's important that we know that because there is no crystal staircase where we just walk up the crystal staircase to the crystals every single time. We've got to do some amending, some tweaking as we go on the journey. Anyhow, so we choose our who, and then we say, well, what are all the pain points that person is experiencing? And what is all the things that they want, which is the gain points? Really simple. So if we look at this now, let's take that other example of, let's say, the estate agent, yeah? So we go with an estate agent. Estate agent wants to sell houses. So who do they want? They want homeowners as their target market. And they want homeowners that, you know, might be looking to upgrade their homes and might be looking to move. So now they've chosen, let's say they've chosen their topic. So their master topic is going to be homes, right, and home ownership. And their mini topics are going to be mortgages. Make sense? Because that's a part of it. In addition to mortgages, we just come up with a couple of mini topics. It might be, you know, design of homes, like the homes that look amazing. And another one might be navigating moving. So now I've got 3 mini topics. So now I go, well, what problems does this person have with design? What problems does this person have with navigating moving? And what are their pain points? So let's take the navigating moving. Well, and we've got mortgages. So they might be like, well, one of the pain points is I really want to move, but I don't know the best way to select an area. And because of that, I don't know, you know. I really want to move, but I don't know whether the schools are right for the kids and stuff like that. I really want to move, but I keep hearing about these stamp duty fees and things like that, and I'm worried about that. I really want to move, but my wife or my husband doesn't want to move. So how do I deal with that? Right, so it could be like the family move, okay? So So these are pain points. So what are we doing here? Why would we even be doing this? Because now you're creating the perfect content to be able to go and share for people. The perfect content. Because now you do a video or you do a post on, hey, these are the best areas that you can move to in the UK right now, you know, and this is how you should select your area. That could be a static post. It could be you talking over a video if you don't want to show your face, or it could be you doing a video like this where you just come and say, hey, these are the best places in the UK to move right now, and this is why, and you might have been thinking about moving, perhaps you're moving because you didn't know how to move, etc., and then you go. So now you've created some relevant content for the people. Then you go, all right, well, I did that one. Now you go and say, okay, hey, you might have been thinking about moving, but you're worried about how to select the right area for schools. So this is a really good resource that you can find to go and find schools in certain areas, and you can create content in that way. And that will help people because we've got inside the head of the who that we wanted to reach. So you just go and you get as many pain points, you get as many gain points as possible for that target market. And some of you are like, but yeah, I don't know those gain points and I don't know those pain points. So I'll give you a really cool little hack. Here we go. We're going to go on ChatGPT and we're going to go, I'm an estate agent. I'm looking to understand how to create better content for my audience. My audience is people that are looking to move, and that's the main topic. Is I want to talk about homes and moving, and then I've got some mini topics I want to talk about, which is mortgages, designs, and navigating moving. What I really want to do is find out 20 pain points and 20 gain points that people have when it comes to moving. So the 20 pain points would be, you know, the things that are going to cause them issues that I could create content to help them with. And the gain points are going to be the things they really, really want if they were to move and how they can make sure they get that outcome. So now I've just gone to ChatGPT. Instead of being stuck, I prop the button in. And before you know it, I've got like, here's a detailed list of 20 pain points and 20 gain points. So let's have a look at them. Let's see how good this is. Finding the right property, budget constraints, securing a mortgage, selling their current home, timing, packaging, organising, choosing a removal company, hidden fees, schooling for children, moving with pets, all sorts of stuff coming up. And you've got the gain points. So we even run this one through. It's like how to find your dream home. Right, that's a great one. How do we find the dream home? And we're like, how to maximize space and to feel like you've got loads of space in your home. So you can just very simply do that if you get stuck. That's a lovely little hack there for you of how you can use ChatGPT with that framework. So now what have we got? Let's take a look at where we're at. We are currently at the stage where we know, number one, our topic, and we know our mini topics that are going to make up our social media. And I'll just give you a recap on that first step in the mix. I think it's important. We now know who we are going to be speaking to. And we have a clear idea of what outcome they're looking for. You know, just these two strategic steps straight away get you off the starting block. They get rid of confusion. They get rid of the ups and downs of you not knowing what to do, because you know exactly what to do. You've got your topics and you've got your mini topics. Then you can address whether you do it through, as I said, speaking like this to a camera, or whether you do it through posting or static images. You can really start to visualize who you're talking to. So the way that I look at it, when I look at this camera and I talk to this camera, I don't feel like I'm talking to a camera. I feel like I'm talking to a person. I look through the camera and I'm like, I know that there's a business owner on the other side of that I can help. And I'm trying to reach them. And every time that I do something like this, I just imagine myself at the beginning. I'm like, well, when I was at the beginning, I was starting a business all the way back in, 2008. I didn't know what to do. I was lost and I was confused. And I was trying to find the right help. I was trying to find the right info. And I massively struggled and I found it very frustrating. So I always take myself back to that and say, right, well, if I can help pull that person up, that's going to be a good start for them on their journey. And then perhaps later on down the line, I can help them even more, right? So you want to do the same thing with your content, whether it's through video or whether it's through static posts and images. Always imagine the person that's receiving the information or the content that you're creating, because that will help you get ready for step 3, which we are going to jump into now. So the next, number 3, the next step is the type of content that you are going to be putting out there. Because this is where a lot of people get stuck, and they get stuck massively. So we're going to talk about content type as well as content place. So this is the first tip, and we've been training business owners for so many years now on social media, for many years. Always say the same thing. One channel. I'm going to give you a hack, a really cool hack to this one channel in a moment, which I think is going to be really useful. But basically, you want to choose a channel. As soon as I say one channel, straight away this little, idea pops up and you go, but what channel should I use? Well, 2 things. First of all, where do your clients hang out? When we're going to talk about content type in this step. We're also going to talk about content place. So where are you going to place your content, and what type of content are you going to place? So first and foremost, remember, this is the beginner's guide as well. When we get into the advanced stuff, if you want a part 2 to this video, we'll go, well, what happens after you're a beginner and then you want to scale? And this is where we'll get more into the ads, and we'll show you how we've scaled and done, over 100 million in sales using ads. If you want a part 2, put a winky face and a part 2 in there for us, right? But essentially what we're going to look at in this first beginner's one is what is the type and what is the content place. So the content place, we say one channel. As I said, we'll give you a hack. So we've got one channel that we want to focus on. And the way that you want to do this is 2 things. You want to choose the channel where your people are most likely to be. So where's the channel that the people that you want to reach, you're like, but I don't know what people I want to reach. Yes, you do, because we just did that in the last step. So like that's why you do the who part. So you go topic cake, then you go who, because now you know like what type of content. This is why it's step by step. If you did this step, and frankly, that's what most people do. Most people go to this step before they do the other 2, therefore the whole, the building falls down. So the reason that we're doing this now is you are ready to do this step now, because you're like, okay, what channel are the people most likely to watch you on? So let's give you an example. Let's say you're a recruitment company. Use that example a few times. A recruitment company is going to want to use the channel of LinkedIn, because that's where the people they're looking to reach are most likely to be. If you're you're in fashion, you're going to use Instagram. So that's where the people are most likely to be. Now, if you sell something quite general, you do dog grooming, you want to look at Facebook, because that's where people are most likely to be. And that is one consideration which is super important. Now, the second consideration, which is super important, is your comfort level. And this is quite important to talk about, is that let's say that I like using Instagram. I like going on Instagram. I've been going on Instagram for years and years. And I'm really comfortable with it. And it just so happens that I've got a big following on Instagram. And the reason I've got a big following on Instagram is a couple of reasons actually. The amount of work I've done with celebrities and influencers, and also the fact that I've been on there consistently and I've got a consistent process, like the step-by-step plan that we're sharing now. But it's something I'm really comfortable with. Now, one of the reasons that my YouTube following is a lot lower than my Instagram following is that I didn't really use YouTube personally. So I didn't put the focus into YouTube in the past. But because I've decided that I want to give away masses of content, I want to reach more people, I want to do longer form content like I'm doing now. This video is going to be a nice chunky educational video, because I want to help. And why am I doing that? Because for me, I know there's business owners out there that need the help. I know that business owners are searching on YouTube that need the help. So now I'm starting to use YouTube more, and that's why you're seeing growth there, as opposed to what I've used in the past, which would have been your Instagram and your Facebook. So why does this matter? Because for me, the reason that we're doing more on YouTube is because we know that there's business owners, the people we want to talk to, like you, are spending time on here. So we want to be here for you to build a relationship. The same way you should take that back to your business and look at it in the same way. Now, the reason that we've delayed that over the years is because I've not used it as much personally. I've used other channels. So remembering now that this is your time and it's not about me, it's about you, and this is a beginner's video, I would always suggest 1, 2. Where are your people likely to be? And you go, they're likely to be on LinkedIn. Absolutely, they're on LinkedIn. How comfortable are you on LinkedIn? Well, I've never used it. I don't even have an account. Well, we've got a bit of a challenge there, right? So what we want to do is we want to take a myriad of these two things. And the myriad, we're like, okay, so why is your channel LinkedIn? You're like, well, because, you know, I want to reach finance directors and, you know, like I'm reaching one there. I was like, okay, well, you know, if we were to, and what do you use? What do you love? Well, I love YouTube. I'm using YouTube all the time. YouTube's awesome. Okay, well, let's make content for finance directors on YouTube. And that's okay because you're comfortable there. You're going to go there and you're going to do it and you're going to do it more freely. Hopefully that makes sense. If it does, you can tell me in the comments. Just put makes sense. And, you know, I'll know that that was the point that I asked this because I think it's really important. I want to see, and you know, if you've been watching this long already, go and drop a comment. Tell us the observations, the light bulb moments you're having. You know, that just really, really encourages us to just give more and, you know, give you more content that can help you. And I really love to see those comments. I answer them all personally, right? So we got those two aspects. We've got the people that we want to reach, and we've got your comfort level. Now we've considered this, we want to look at, because this is the channel, the content place, we've got to consider this other element, which is the content type. So let's now say you've decided on where you're going to do it, you've decided on your one channel. Now we're going to look at the content type that you want. So your content type, we've got a few choices. We've got 1, static. We've got 2, voice. We've got 3, video. And of course there are other, remember this is social media for beginners. As we advance up, there's lots of other things we do, like we do reactions and all this other cool stuff. We can do blogs, we can do written word as well. So let's put in that, let's put written word. So we can put word. So we've got a few choices there, and yes, there are more choices, but we're at the beginning. And what I'm trying to do here is make it easy and simple for you to travel through this process to get you going. So you can get more clients, you can get more leads, you get more growth, and you'll be happier, and you build your business more, and then we'll work together later, right? So what we need to look at is a few things. If you absolutely are terrified of doing video, and every time you consider doing video, you just go into a wobbly mess and you never want to do it, well then let's not start there, right? Let's build up to that, remembering that it's social media for beginners. Let's imagine this, let's take this metaphor because I think it'd be a beautiful one for this, is let's imagine that you're going to the gym. Now, if you're a real gym bunny, you love the gym and it's really easy for you and that's super cool. But if you're like me, I'm not a big gym bunny, so I have to kind of build up to it. Now, when I'm into it, I love it. I'm in momentum and I'm like, yeah, this is great. And I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. My confidence builds and I get very, very into it. But at the beginning, when I've had a bit of time off, I'm like, ugh. So what I would suggest to you to do is at the beginning is follow the least line of resistance in terms of putting that content out there, but make whatever type you choose. I've given you 4 types. And it doesn't really matter. Look, okay, well, it does matter. Video is the most powerful. You do video, why? Because you watch this now. I was in the petrol station, the BP yesterday, and a guy behind me smiled at me. I smiled back at him, and then he tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around and said, I watch your videos. I'm like, oh, cool. Do you like them? He's like, yeah, I really like them. I said, oh, that's nice. Now, why does that matter? Because if I never did any videos, it's very unlikely that someone taps me on the shoulder and says, I read your post. No, maybe they do, right? But it's unlikely because video gives you more visibility. And if you've watched up until now, hopefully that would mean that, you know, we have some kind of relationship. You're either liking what I'm saying or you're really bored if you're not liking what I'm saying, right? But you're getting to know me and I'm getting to know you. We're establishing that relationship. And you can't really do that in these other elements, right? So if you were to consider, this is the best way to do this, and this is the way I've done this in the past, to big groups of audience. If I'm speaking to 100, 200 people, I say, okay, imagine in your mind someone that you follow on social media, you follow them intently on social media, and you like their stuff, you engage with their stuff, you think they're cool, whatever it might be. Imagine that person. Who is that person? And I'll give you like 5 seconds to, and then I go, right, okay, does that person do videos? And the answer is yes. Invariably, it would be yes. Why? Because that is the most consumed media. That is how you get to build relationships, how you get to know people. But remembering that this is social media for beginners, how can we begin? Okay? So eventually, we want to build our confidence to the point where this is something that we can do, and we go out there and we make it happen. But where can we start? We can start by creating some static, some posts and some carousels and some information, and start putting the information out there. So much like what we spoke about earlier, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back here, but much like what we spoke about earlier, and we now take the content type to this part, we talk about the home areas. So let's imagine that. We go, okay, well, what are the best areas? So we can create a type of content where we have a carousel that's from your thing on the areas where you go, hey, Surrey's a great area. Essex is a great area. Here's why. Wherever else, Hertfordshire is a great area. Here's why. And we've got a static post. Make sense? Now stay with me for a moment as we go back, because we'll use that example because then it flows and that will help you to get the point across. So now we know that our piece of content that we want to create is going to be about moving home. So we can make the static moving home. This is why you want to move to Essex. And some people ain't going to like that in the chat, right, in the comments. And then this is why you want to move to Hertfordshire. It's really cool in Hertfordshire. This is why you want to move to, Surrey. This is why it's really cool here. Same piece of content is we can take a video of Essex. Go find a video on Essex online or something happening in Essex, some different things. And you can literally just do a voiceover. So I really love this about Essex. I really love this about Hertfordshire. I really love this about Surrey. You haven't got to show your face. You just talk over a video. And you can script it out and you can just follow a script. It's actually very easy. If you wanted to, you could even go and get a teleprompter, type it in, and then speak it off a teleprompter if you wanted to. I don't actually recommend that, but I know people that do it and I know people that found success through it, right? Now, alternatively, you could write up a document on this is all why you want to move to Essex. This is why you want to move to Hertfordshire. This is why you want to move to Surrey. And now you've got like a big, long written piece. Or you could make a video on that. So now you've got the types. It's very simple for you to understand. Like, well, I just got to choose what I want to do. Now this is where we flip back almost to the channel bit. Let's just do this now for you. Well, what should you do? Well, first of all, what's your comfort level? Because frankly, I'm not that good at writing. Confession, I'm not the best writer. I can write, but I'm not the best writer. And do you know what? It would take me ages. So let's imagine that I had to do this, what we've done here now, and I'm like a social media guide for beginners. It would take me probably weeks to write this. I mean, I could film it, convert it, and then turn it into, we're going to come to that in a minute, right, in terms of repurposing. But it would take me weeks to write. So the video, it takes me hours to record. This is definitely what I'm more comfortable with, is video, and it is the most powerful, right? So you have to start with your comfort level. Now, this is really important. So if you are just like, Adam, I'm just such a beginner, and this is just I really hate social media. The amount of people that I've met, I mean thousands, that tell me they hate social media, they despise social media, they hate going out on social media, they hate putting themselves out on social media, they have anxiety about all this stuff, that's why you need these steps. Because what this can do is this can just build you towards that freedom of being able to go and express yourself. And then actually you can come and re-watch this video, Because you might decide, like as we're talking today, okay, Adam, I'll start with that static stuff. Just, and what is static stuff? That's just you posting pictures and writing over those pictures. We can use Canva, very inexpensive. And, anyone, no matter what your level is, you just write over those pictures and bang, there you go. We'll talk about consistency and all that stuff in a minute. But you could then go, right, I've got that. I'm doing what you said. Then you come back, you watch the video again, and you go, okay, well, now I'm going to apply the same principle to voice. And now I'm going to apply the same principle to video. And now I'm going to apply the same principle to written word. And before you know it, you've now got a breadth of content in different variations and different ways. Hopefully that's making sense to you. So what have you got to do on this step? Because these are very actionable steps. So on your step 1, you've got to choose your mother topic, your top line topic, and you've got to choose 3 mini topics. That's your step 1. On step 2, you've got to decide who that audience is, and you've got to decide what their pain points are and what their gain points are. On step 3, you've simply got to decide where are we going to go and put the content out, and what is the type of content that we are going to put out. And once we've done that and you've got those steps, now we're ready for the next step. So we're now moving into step 4. This is something people massively struggle with. Is they struggle for consistency. And let me tell you why most people struggle for consistency. And if you personally struggle from consistency, tell me in the comments. But the reason that I've seen most people struggle for consistency is because they don't know their topic, they don't know their who, they don't know their type of content, they're going to everything last minute, they haven't been strategic, they don't have a step-by-step plan, therefore they can't be consistent. I want to put a stop to that, I want to put an end to that. I'm going to give you a way that you can become very consistent. In fact, I'm going to do something awesome for you for free. If you've watched this far and you love free gifts, but I love free gifts in the comments for us. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our social media content vault, which is 365 days worth of content ideas for you to go and be able to go and post. And it's on a Trello board, and you've got that there for free. It's an incredible resource, one that we've seen massive results for. So hopefully you can use that, and that will help you get your consistency. But let me break it down for you, because this is what I would suggest to you to do. And I'm going to even use, I'm going to flip back to my gym metaphor. So New Year's resolution, I'm like, right, I am going to go, and this is how my mind works. And this is actually one of the reasons that I've been able to create a lot of success in different areas over the year. Not necessarily the gym though. But what I decided to do was take a business practice to the gym in order to create consistency. So this is what I said to myself, right, new year, new me, all that kind of stuff. I am going to go to the gym twice a week for the entire year. Because this is what happens with me and my gym. And this might be a little bit like you and your social media. Go to the gym, I'm like, right, I've got my new shoes, I've got my new bag, I'm going to the gym, I'm excited for it. I go in there and I do it and I'm like, oh, I knew that was awesome, I knew I should do it. And then I go and do it another time, and then I don't go for 4 weeks. And then I start beating myself up. I was like, why didn't I go to the gym? What did I do? That was so frustrating. Anyhow, I broke out of that by hiring a coach, a personal trainer, that helped me to get that consistency. But I did something else which was super powerful that I want you to do for your social media. So I wrote out a goal where I looked at, there's 52 weeks in a year, I want to go twice, that's 104 sessions. So I went and I got, and I used, it doesn't matter if you use Monday, and you're like, am I watching a gym video here or a social media video? It's just a metaphor. But here's a few different ones that you could use to do what I'm going to suggest, and the pieces of the puzzle will fall into place in just a moment. You could even use Outlook. So I was like, right, I'm going to go twice a week for the whole year. That's 104 sessions. So I started a Monday board and I put session 1, session 2, session 3, and I wrote out the 104 sessions. Now, every time I go to the gym, I tick off the session. I've done session 1, I've done session 2, I've done session 3, I've done session 1. And now I'm creating that consistency where it's like bang, bang, bang. And now I feel good about it, not bad about it. Why is this like your social media? Because a lot of people feel bad about their social media. They feel like it's a drag. They feel like it's a lot to do. But since I did this, it's made it really easy. So what I would suggest to you, whether you're doing the social media or your team is doing the social media, make yourself a goal. Don't make it ridiculous, because this is the thing. Let's imagine I took my gym target. I'm like, I'm going to go 4 times a week. I know that I'm not going to go 4 times a week because I've just got too much. You know, I've got my family, my little boy that I love looking after. You know, my other half, I like going nice places. I've got businesses to run, all that kind of stuff. So I said I'm going to go 4 times a week. I'm just not going to go 4 times a week, but I can fit 2 times a week in. So you set yourself a goal for consistency, not a goal for insanity. So in this instance, maybe you say, I'm going to make sure that we post 2 times a week on my social media. And those 2 posts a week on my social media, because this is for beginners, we're going to do it every single week. You're going to start either a Monday board or a Trello board. Trello is free. If you've got Monday, use Monday. If not, use Trello. If you've got Asana, use Asana. If not, just put it in your Outlook calendar if you've got Outlook. And if you haven't got any of that stuff, you know, write it down on a piece of paper and put it on the wall, because this money should not stand in the way of consistency. So write down on a piece of paper, stick it up on your wall and go and tick them off as you go. Doesn't matter, whatever works for you. And then you just go and simply do it and tick it off twice a week. And it could be twice a week. I recommend twice a week because that means that you're going to get the consistency, you're going to be present. You're like, but what do I post twice a week, Adam? Well, clearly you're going to do what we spoke about here. I told you it was step by step. You can see the steps laying out in front of you now. It's very, very simple. So this is what gives you the consistency to move through this process. And if you keep that consistency and you move through and you're there twice a week and you're doing the things that you know you do, then all of a sudden you're going to start to build a lot of confidence. You'll be like, yeah, no, I get this game. Yeah, we create content, we do it based on the who, we do it based on our topics, and you're doing it consistently. It's awesome. And you just go pop, 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 pop. And then all of a sudden, you're ready for the next steps, which can allow us to go further. Now, I just want to give you another example of this. You know, I told you earlier that we're doing more on YouTube now. So if you haven't already, I'd love it if you could go and subscribe and share this video with somebody that could get some real value from it. Perhaps you know a small business owner or somebody that runs a business that you could go and share this video with, that they could get some value so they can build their own plan. That would help us and that would help them, which would be really awesome of you. But I did exactly this for the consistency. I said to my team, want to make 1 really good YouTube video a week. We've done hundreds and hundreds of videos on YouTube in the past, but I've said, it's not about quantity, it's now about quality. So we want quality. So I want to make sure, and this is me doing exactly what I'm telling you to do, because I'm a practitioner, I do what I say to do, is I said quality. I just want 1 really good YouTube video every week now. I don't want to put loads out. I just want to put 1 thing out that I think is genuinely going to help the clients that we want to serve in the future. That's all I want to do. I want to give them loads of value. I want to do it once a week, and I'm going to do it for the whole year. And, you know, we're just going to keep doing that once a week, once a week, once a week, create lots of value for our clients. And if that means we do something longer, great. If sometimes we might do something shorter, fine. But as long as it's high quality. And I would encourage you to do the same. You know, we've done that on our other channels very successfully, on our Instagram channels, on our Facebook channels, and now we're moving that towards YouTube as well. So you should follow the exact same blueprint. So in order to keep your consistency, set yourself a goal that is for consistency, not insanity. That's the recap. Ensure that you get that listed out. Let's say if it's twice a week, go in there and, you know, put twice a week out. I've put a link in the description to our content vault. You can go and get that. That's something that we've charged for, you know, significantly in the past. You can go and get that for free now. So just go and get that vault, and that will help you for sure to create this consistency. And now you're ready for the next step, which is step 5. So now we're ready for step 5, which is all about engagement. So this is something that people seek and something that people want, but it doesn't always come. And what happens a massive amount of time is you've got a business owner like yourself watching now, Like, okay, Adam, I get this. I'm understanding the steps. I feel like I'm learning and I get what I've got to do here. And then you go to work and you get into it. And then you're like, no one's interested. Put all that effort in. No one's commented. No one really cares. Oh, I don't even know why I'm bothering. And that happens all of the time. People quit before the magic happens. So people get very frustrated. So how do we get out of that? So we need to understand a couple of principles. And I want to share this principle with you, which is super important. You have your engagers and you have your lurkers, right? So your lurkers are the people that are watching, but maybe not necessarily engaging. And your engagers are the people that are engaging. And often people feel that, you know, oh, if my engagement goes up, then I'm going to get more. I'm going to get more leads. I'm going to get more clients. And it does matter a little bit, but it's not the be all and end all, because what I've found is most of the time, it's your lurkers that go on to be your clients and your customers and your leads and the people that inquire. Well, a lot of the time the engagers don't. You know, they're used to engaging, they watch a lot of different things, and don't get me wrong, we love the engagers, we want you to engage. And of course, engagers do go on to make inquiries, become customers. But I really want to, for you, get you to understand that there are, you know, two types of people, because what people judge their social media on is this segment, the engagers. And if they're not getting many engagements, they think no one's watching. And if they're not getting many views, they think no one's watching. But actually, that's often not the truth, because imagine this. Let's take this scenario. Imagine you went out to a networking event, and we're not on social media now. We're in the real world, right? And you sit there and you're at the networking event and you're around a table. Let's say it's a really small one. And let's say you've got you and 6 other people there. You all introduce yourself. You all have a conversation. You have a chat. You get to know each other for 1 hour. And at the end of that, you go off and you go into your business doing your thing. This one that was here says, hey, I'd love to work with you. You know, it's good to get to know you and have that hour chat with you the other day. And you end up conducting some business and you end up doing a deal. Cha-ching. Right, so you've made some progress in your business. Well, how long did it take to go networking? How long did it take to go and facilitate this? Well, first thing happened is you drove in your car to the networking event. Probably stopped, got some petrol, got some food. Let's say you invested 1 hour of time. You then went there, you maybe had a 30-minute warm-up, then you had the hour networking. And then you had the way back an hour as well. So what we got, let's just call that an hour, and say driving back's an hour as well. So now you've spent 3 hours, you've got one lead, one opportunity that's gone on to be a customer, and most people will be happy with that. But why is that not sustainable for the long term of a business? Well, because if you have to spend 3 hours to get one customer and you have to do that consistently again and again and again, unless you can pay someone to go networking for you, so you don't have to go and they can pick people up at the same velocity as you can, you're going to get stuck in that business because you're going to run out of time before you make enough money. Unless you've got a really high ticket product that you sell something for, say, 50K, then it's well worth you going out and doing that, because you're going to go and pick up the person, you get, let's say, a deal a week, you've got 200 grand a month. Happy days, 2.4 million. And that's a good strategy. But for most people, they don't have a product that's 50K or a service that's 50K. They might have something very, very inexpensive. Therefore, the time investments that they put in, they need to reduce. Why does that matter? You're like, where did we just go there? We were talking about social media engagement. Well, why does this matter? And what do we talk about social media engagement for? So when you talk about social media engagement, let's say you spend 30 minutes creating a video based on your topic cake that speaks to the target market that really likes you. You put it into the right place, i.e. the content place. You know, you make sure that you do the right content type, the type that you do, and that 30 minutes investment goes out. And let's say 200 people view it. You're like, what? I've got 200 people that viewed my thing. And let's say one person becomes an inquiry out of those 200 people, and they go on to buy your product or service, and you've got one person from the 200 people. What have you just done? Well, look at two scenarios. You've got your other scenario where you went and did all this work, 3.5 hours to and from, going to meeting, putting yourself out there, doing your networking to get a deal. And you've got this scenario where you put 30 minutes in and you actually got the business from the 30 minutes. So that 30 minutes investment is like 5 times less investment than if you did it in person. So hopefully that's making sense to you, but still, it's not setting the world alight. Remembering that this is for beginners. What you have to remember though, is that's one person out of the 200. Well, what about the other 199? Well, let's say 190 of them were terrible, but 9 started to build a relationship with you, and they're going to watch more of your stuff, and more of your stuff, and more of your stuff, and they're being nurtured towards making an inquiry and becoming the next purchaser. So each time that you do it, you're building up. And this is how I want you to see it and visualize it. I want you to visualize it very simply as each piece of content you create becomes another step on that journey. It's a building a bridge for your clients or your prospects, because they're not your clients yet, to come towards you. So they start here and they get to know you, and then they see some of your content, they get to know you better, and they see some more of your content, and by the time they actually get to the point where they meet you here, they know everything about you. They've been watching everything and they already want to do business with you. They're like, hey, you know, I've been watching your stuff for ages. I think you're awesome. Great. Now you're doing business. So the reason that you want to keep that consistency is you can build up that pathway, but we also want to really remember that we've got 2 types. You've got engagers and you've got your lurkers. Engagers and your lurkers. You never know who's watching. That's why you want to keep the consistency. Now, when it comes to engagement, let's talk about a couple of simple things. If someone writes you a comment and they've took the time to write you a comment, you should be writing back to them. Go, but Adam, I'm so busy, I don't have time. But no matter what you say, you have got time. If someone takes their time out to comment on this video, I will read and I will comment back. You know, I just feel that is, I just feel it's polite. Imagine it was the real world and somebody come up to you and said to you at the coffee machine at the networking event, hey, you know, love your business, and you just went, you wouldn't do very well. That's the same thing as it is on social media. Don't ignore people that engage with you, engage with them. Remember that people have different perspectives, people have different opinions, and while we're at it, we may as well talk about engagement from haters and engagement from trolls and whatever else. Look, if somebody's got something negative to say, you know, in most circumstances, the best course of action is just simply to delete it. That is just best course of action. In some circumstances, you know, someone might give some feedback and it might not be negative, and actually you can use that to improve what you do. So try to discern between what is a comment that can be constructive, and if there is any type of comment or any type of engagement which is negative, just delete it, just move on. They're not your people. Now remember this, we've already decided these are our topics, these are our people. If someone, one of your people that you're trying to reach says that you've got some, you know, is like, hey, you know, I just don't think you got that right, or there's some things wrong, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Now, bear in mind, when I started this video, I told you it's for beginners, and I've told you only to talk about essentially the topics you know and the things you feel comfortable with. It's only when people start talking about stuff they don't know about that they start to fall off. Now, if someone comes on this video and is like, Adam, you don't know what you're talking about. Adam, it's very obvious I do, because I've got the track record of having done it. And I don't say that in an arrogant way. If I started talking about quantum physics, it would be stupid because I know nothing about it. So I only talk about the stuff that you know about. If somebody's a hater, just delete the comment, move on. You don't need it, right? And if somebody is trying to give you some constructive criticism, listen to it. You know, and in some circumstances that can be useful. And most importantly, if somebody's giving you good feedback, you know, that's awesome. You know, engage with them, serve them more. And that's your step 5. Let's move into step 6. Okay, so now we're on step 6 on the social media guide for beginners. Hopefully you are following it and you are seeing every single step links together, because they do. That's the way I planned it. This is what we do. It's step by step. You link it together, can get you amazing results. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you save this video. Because if you need to come back to it, you don't want to get lost, not be able to find it. There's lots of stuff out there. I want you to be able to find this resource, so make sure you save it. You can either download it on premium, which will be super useful for you. So what do we need to do at step 6? Well, if you look at the steps we've taken so far, we've really got clear on our topic. We've got really clear on who we want to serve. We've really started to understand like what is the content type that we want to use. We've started to understand how we're going to engage with people, and we're now out there. What we want to do is we want to start to get people to opt in and make inquiries to your business, because with the best will in the world, we want to go out. And one of the things I will just say, which is a side note, is people are like, well, how much should I say? How much should I give away? Give your best. Just give them your best. It's just much easier to just go and give them your best. And then, because what really people want to understand is, you know, from this, there'll be intricacies that you want to know. And in those intricacies, like, I can help you with them on the next stage, but I want to give you lots of value up front. Take that mentality to what you do. How do I give loads of value to my audience? And that will help you. That will really serve you. So what do we want to do now is we want to get people to opt in. And getting people to opt in means that they're going to give us their name, their phone number, and email address. It's not a big ask. It's like, hey, you know, we'd like your name, your phone number, and email address so we can stay in touch. That way, you can move people onto your assets, i.e. your email list, and you can start emailing them. You want to do this, and this is an important step and something a lot of people don't do, and there's a lot of ways you can do it. So I'm going to keep it fairly brief. I'm going to give you some simple instructions that you can use to help you get going with this. So on the opt-in, I always like to make sure whatever you ask somebody to opt in for, it's much easier if it's free. Give them something free. So if you give them something free, what you're doing is you're lowering the resistance level to them opting in. So it just becomes really simple. It's like, hey, do you want this free thing? They're like, yeah. And then you should make that free thing of lots of value, so they go and get it, and they're really happy. I'll give you an example. I said to you earlier, you want our content vault, 365 ideas. Every single day you can have it for free. It's actually valuable. You know, we sold that for £497 in the past. You can get it for free. Now, what will that happen? You go and click that, then you opt in, and then you'll go into my email address. So next time I do a YouTube video, you get an email saying, I'm doing a YouTube video. And why do you want to do that? Well, because then you can bring people back to watch your assets over and over again, and we'll talk about why that's important in just a moment. So when it comes to your opt-in, give people something free. Make the thing you give them for free have a ton of value. There's no point giving them something rubbish for free. You may as well give them, if you're going to give them something for free, you might as well give them something good for free. So they can say, well, actually, if I get this for free and it's that awesome, what happens if I work with that person further? It's very, very simple. So we give them something free. We make sure the thing that we give them for free is valuable. Now we can get into some of the, we've gone social media for beginners, getting to the point where we get something slightly more advanced in that in order to facilitate giving away something for free, we're probably going to need a landing page. Now you might have this on your website already if you've got a business website, or you can get one built. You know, we have a software called My Instant Business, which does landing pages. You can go and check it out if you want to, and put a link there as well. And you build a landing page which people can come from your content, whether that's Instagram, whether that's Facebook, wherever it is, whether it's YouTube, whatever you decide. And they go from your content, whether that is your static, your video, your blog, whatever, and they come over to your landing page, and then they get your free thing. They opt in, you get their name, you get their email, and you get their phone number. Now, personally, if you ask for people's phone numbers, you'll get less people opt in. But if you do, if you really want to keep in touch with people and you want to add lots of value to people, it's always worth asking for the phone numbers. But you can do it either way. You can either go name and email and you'll get more people opt in, or you can go name, email, phone number, and then you've got that there, okay? So why do we want to get people to opt in? The reason we want to get people to opt in, and we want to get name, phone numbers, and email addresses, is social media is a big, wide world. There are billions of people. People's attention span is typically short. You know, your attention span is typically very good because you've come all the way through the video, so congratulations, well done. Not all the way, we're not there yet, but you've come a long way through the video, which is awesome, which means that you're taking it really seriously. I love that. You're an A player. Go and write A player in the comments. You know, I always say that you get to the end of the video, you're an A player, which is awesome. Now, social media time span is short. People's attention span is so short. So they might go and they might watch a video like you come watch this, like, this is awesome, I love it, I'm getting the steps, this is incredible, and you go and get distracted and you forget you watched it. However, if you opt in and then you get your email about my next YouTube video coming out, you then go and watch that YouTube video and you go, oh, that was good, that was good. And then you get the next one, that was good. It's like, oh, we're running an event here, oh, I might go to that. And before you know it, we're furthering the relationship. So by getting people to opt in, you can nurture people towards becoming, you know, one of your clients, to working with you further, to, you know, just being on your list and being engaged in what you do. And that is how you're going to get more leads and more inquiries into your business. Now, it's important to remember that every lead you get into your business is a person. Every person that goes and opts in here, that is a person, that is an individual that actually you've done a ton of work, right? To get that person, that individual. Well, what work have you done? Well, you've figured out your topics, you know, you've figured out these steps, you've got an added value to them and you put them onto your list. This is actually very, very valuable. And some people, if you're right at the beginning, you go, well, you know, I only get 5 people a month, whatever. But 5 people a month, if one of them turns into a client, that's awesome. But what happens is it's like the snowball effect. It's like rolling that snowball off the hill. Your 5 people a month turns into 10, turns into 50, turns into 100, turns into 1,000, turns into 10,000. We've now got 250,000 people on our email list because we did this back in 2016. We've been getting opt-ins for years and years and years and years and years. So we've got a massive list. Imagine that you had 250,000 people on a list that you could email to and you could send messages to and all that kind of cool stuff. You know, and of course, some of those would have opted out by now, and you know but that's the overall how many we've accumulated over the period of years that we've been doing that, right? So you should be doing it too. And if you're right at the beginning, this is a message you really, really need to hear. So now you've done that and you've got your opt-ins on stage 6, you're now ready for step 7. So we are now at step 7, which is the list itself. So we got them to opt in. We're now building a list out and we've got lots of people getting onto our list. Why is this useful? Well, now every time you create something valuable and you create some great social media content, you can drive people towards that. You can go and you can send an email out, you can send text messages out. So I've just created this YouTube video. You know, you can start to engage with the people on your list. What you can also do is you can ask your list for ideas. You can say, hey, you know, I see you've been following my YouTube. What kind of content ideas do you want to see on the YouTube? And people will come and they'll give you ideas. They've got free content ideas from exactly the target market that you want to serve. Now, you want to grow this list over time and keep growing it, keep getting those opt-ins, and then you've got the opportunity to go and have conversations with this list. You can, remember, you've got the email, so you can send them emails about a promotion that you've got coming up. You can call them. If you've got the phone numbers, you can go and have a call and say, hey, I've got this really cool event on. We're doing this big thing. Do you want to be a part of it? Do you want to come? You know, you can send them a YouTube video or that you've recorded, or you can send them a podcast that you've done, whatever it might be. And now all of a sudden, you've got all of your list in one place and you're not really a beginner anymore because you've come all the way through the steps which lead us into the beautiful step, which is the step which I love the most, step 8, which is where we are now ready to scale with ads. So remembering that the very beginning of this video, I told you we've got a step-by-step plan for beginners to get their social media going. We've done the work, we've gone step by step. And hopefully you've been implementing as we've been going along. If you have to, go and rewatch, go and pause, go and take notes, make sure you take the actions, because this can break you free. If you've gone through those 7 steps of really knowing your topic cake, really understanding your audience, understanding how to be consistent, really engaging with the right people, You've got a clear way of getting people to opt in. You're building your own list. You've come on a journey now where you're not actually a beginner anymore and you're ready to get going. So this is what you've learned at this stage if you've done those steps. Now, if you haven't done those steps, you've got to rewatch, you've got to go back, you've got to rewatch again, make sure you take the action, do the steps, get it all done. Step 8 means you know who the target market is, you know what content they respond to and they like, you know how to get them, you know how to make them an offer that gets them to opt in, you've got a list that you've got them on, got a perfect understanding actually of the marketplace that you've been building up to actually start running your own ads. And now you can run YouTube ads, you can run Meta ads, whatever it is, because you understand who to target, what to say, what to offer, and you've come that far. This is where it gets beautiful, because now you can invest a little bit of money to reach a lot more people. And the way this works is all of the content that you've been creating and you've been doing on social media has been getting you out there. But the only problem with it that you will have experienced, and you've been consistent because you've done what I've told you to do, is you'll have up and down results. So sometimes you get really rubbish reviews, sometimes you get rubbish engagement, sometimes it really hits, you do well, and you're a bit like this and it's a bit frustrating. And you've been throwing the dart at the dartboard, if you want to call it that way, and sometimes you've been getting the hits and sometimes you haven't. Imagine that you could throw the dart at the dartboard and you could get 180 every single time, or you could get the bullseye every single time. Well, this is what your ads are like, because now if you want 10,000 people to see your video, we throw the ad out and we get 10,000 people to see the video. If we want 50,000 people to see the video, we throw the dart out, we get 50,000 people to see the video. Now the difference is this: in the steps that we've done previously, it's important to understand that you pay in one of two ways. And in the steps you've been doing previously, you have been paying with your time. You've been investing the time, which is smart, especially at the beginning, because it's social media for beginners. But now you've invested the time, you've learned a lot of lessons, you understand the fundamentals, and you would have picked up some business and some deals and opportunities. And you start to investing with your pounds, your euros, your dollars, whatever currency you use. It's now time to start investing with your money, because then you can save your time and it becomes infinitely more scalable, which is awesome. So how that works is you can take, and this is a really cool thing you can do, is you've now got a bank of all your content. You've got all this stuff that you've been doing forever, and you've got all these different things, and some worked and some didn't, and some results were okay and some results were pretty bad. And now what we know is we're like, okay, right, of all this stuff that you've been doing over the past few months and all the stuff that you've been putting out, this was a proper winner. This was a winner as well. Do you know what? This was a winner, and everything else wasn't such a winner. It didn't do that well. Well, which ones do we want to turn into ads, my friends? We want to back the winners. Imagine them as racehorses. Okay, so we're going to take this piece of content. We know it worked really well organically. We take this piece of content, worked really well organically, and this piece. Now we're going to turn it into an ad, and we're going to pay to put that out to more people. I've personally spent over £8 million on ads. So I know ads very, very well. And if you wanted to see a part 2 where we did a social media ads for beginners, we can go much, much deeper, and we can show you how to use the ads if you've come through that stage. But let's see how this helps people, and let's see if you get a lot of value from this. And then if you want a part 2, give me a part 2 in the comments, which would be pretty cool. But the way that ads works is we understand these principles that we've just said. We're going to back the winners. We know, and we've been on that journey of understanding what the topic is, who the people is, how to be consistent, how to engage. Now we can literally just buy these eyeballs from social media. So this is how it works, right? And there are some previous videos that I've done like this, but I could do a really in-depth one, like I said, a social media ads for beginners part 2 if you'd like to. So eyeballs are available for sale in sets of 1,000 from social media channels. So you can go to Meta, you can go to Google, TikTok, the other channels, and you can buy these eyeballs. This is called CPM. They sell you 1,000 eyeballs at a time, and the price point ranges anywhere from, it depends on how good you are with your creatives, but anywhere from say 20 to 65 pounds, dollars, depending on whatever currency you're using, to go and buy those 1,000 eyeballs. Now bear in mind, you've posted 365 pieces of content in the past year. You know what works, you know what doesn't work. You've also done lots of opt-in offers, so you know what people opt in for, you know what they don't opt in for. You've got the industry knowledge, you've got the topic cake that you've done all the steps, so you're very well positioned to go and now start using the principles in the ads, right? So you go, okay, well, I'm going to take this piece because it's really good. I'm going to turn this into an ad for my product or service. I want 10,000 people to see this message. So Meta, I would like 10 bags of eyes for this video. That's literally how simple it is. So you buy the 10 bags of eyes. Let's say you pay £20. You've now spent £200 to get 10,000 people to see this message. And of the 10,000 people that see this message, you've got your landing page, because we worked on that earlier. You've got X amount of opt-ins. And now you've got your X amount of opt-ins. Let's say you spent £200. You've got 10,000 views. And let's say from that 10,000 views, 1,000 of them, 10% watched all the way through. And of the 1,000, let's say just 1% of the 1,000 opted in, you've got 10 opt-ins. Now what does that mean? Well, that means you've paid £200 for 10 opt-in leads, which means you've paid £20 or $20 or euros per lead. So that's your cost per lead. Now, out of those 10 leads that you bought, 2 go on to buy your product or service at £1,000. So it's 2, that means you've made 2k. That means you swapped £200 for 2k. Do that every day, you'll be very wealthy. And that's what we call turning advertising into profit. So what we've walked you through there is those 8 steps. Let's just have a recap and make sure you tell me the actions in the comments that you're going to take. What is the one of these steps that you need to work on the most? What actions are you going to take? Do you want to see a part 2 on ads? Tell me what it is that you feel that you need the help with and what it is you need the breakdowns on, and we'll see if we can make it. That's what this channel is all about. It's about serving great business owners like you. So what are those steps? 1, you've got the step of your topic cake and you've got your mini topics. This gives you clarity. This gives you no confusion. This allows you to get going. This allows you not to get distracted. This allows you to have focus. Awesome. Now we've got step 2, which is the who. You understand who it is that you are looking to talk to. You understand their pain points. You understand their gain points. And you understand content creation based on the who, which is awesome, right? Step 3, which is your type of content. Really understanding the difference between content types, understanding what's going to fit with you, what you're going to be comfortable with. We've got step 4, which is creating that consistency, really understanding task management, understanding quality over quantity, which is super important too. Step 5, which is your engagement and really understanding the difference between engagers and lurkers. We've got your step 6, which is getting opt-ins so we can get leads for your business. We've got step 7, which is your list and managing your list. And then we've got step 8, which is getting ready for ads. That is, my friends, a complete guide, social media for beginners, how you, in just 8 steps, can go on a journey from stuck, confused, overwhelmed to taking massive action and getting really great results with your social media. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have enjoyed, please do tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear from those of you that have taken action on this. Remember that in the description, you've got your social media content vault there. We've got 365 content ideas, as well as a few other really cool giveaways and different fun things that you can use that can help you on this journey. I wish you all the success in the world. Make sure you subscribed, and I look forward to seeing you on our next YouTube guide.